electricity and
beating hard. It looked like it stopped under a brutal, unstoppable flood that turned streets into rivers and normal life into lives. Not because it was loud, but because it was helpless. Because you could watch the water rise and realize there was nothing you could do but run, carry, spray, and hold on. It began the way many disasters begin, with rain for a moment. Then the sound changed. Heavier, closer, constant, like thousands of fists pounding rooftops at the same time. Traps fill. 1 minute, you can still drive through. The next minute, you can't even see where the road ends. And then Beijing started realizing something terrifying. This wasn't going to be manageable. Phones lit up with emergency alerts. Messages spread faster than the traffic could move. Avoid low-lying areas. Stay away from underpasses. Prepare to evacuate. But warnings feel different when you're looking out your window, and the street below is already turning into a moving brown current when cars are stalling, when headlights vanish into water, when people are stepping off curbs and sinking deeper than they expected. The capital of China doesn't usually look fragile. It looks permanent, planned, protected, powerful, and yet in this moment, it looked like a city begging for mercy from the sky. It didn't just fall. It attacked. It didn't pause. It didn't ease. It kept coming in thick, relentless waves pushing runoff into the city, swelling waterways, overwhelming tunnels and drainage systems, and forcing the streets into submission. In some areas, water surged so quickly that residents had minutes to decide what mattered most. Not what was valuable, what was possible. Your documents, your medicine, your child, your parents? Everything else becomes background noise when water starts climbing your doorstep. And the most horrifying part, much of this unfolded at night. Night turns, flooding into fear. In darkness, you can't judge depth. You can't see what's hidden under the surface open drains. Broken pavement, debris, sudden drops. You step once, and your foot lands on nothing. You step twice, and the current tugs at your balance. Parents lift children into their arms and move one careful step at a time, trying not to show terror on their face. Elderly residents are guided down stairwells by neighbors, hands shaking because the elevator is no longer safe. Flashing emergency lights slice through rain like warning beacons in a city that suddenly feels unfamiliar. Beijing's transportation, normally a symbol of efficiency and control, began to fracture. Subway entrances became funnels for water, routes were suspended, roads closed. Traffic froze, movement slowed to a crawl, then stopped entirely in areas where water turned asphalt into a riverbed. Flights faced delays as access routes flooded and safety thresholds were crossed. The capital, usually humming with constant motion, felt like it was being forced into stillness by something far more powerful. And when a city as massive as Beijing slows down, you feel it like a heartbeat skipping. Beyond the city center, the danger grew sharper. Saturated ground in hillside areas raises the threat of landslides, sudden collapses that can bury roads, cut off communities, and trap families without warning. When rain has nowhere to go, it doesn't just flood the streets. It destabilizes the earth itself. The disaster becomes two disasters: water rising below, ground breaking above. What makes this so emotionally crushing is the symbolism. This is Beijing, the capital, a city tied to history, to leadership, to identity, a place many people believe is built to withstand anything. Seeing it overwhelmed reminds us of a truth we don't like to face. Power does not equal immunity. Concrete, steel, and planning can reduce risk, but they cannot erase physics. Water follows gravity. And when too much water arrives too fast, even the most prepared places can be forced to surrender. But in the middle of all this, something else appears, something that hits just as hard as the flood itself. People, neighbors knocking on doors, checking on the elderly, carrying belongings upstairs. Volunteers guiding families to safer ground. Rescue workers stepping into chest-deep water, not knowing what's beneath, because someone out there needs help. Strangers sharing phone chargers and bottled water in shelters, because kindness becomes currency when everything else is uncertain. In moments when the capital feels like it's collapsing, humanity becomes the foundation holding it together. Still, the trauma remains. Floods do not end when the rain stops. They leave behind contamination, ruined homes, damaged businesses, and the kind of emotional exhaustion that doesn't show up in statistics. People will remember the sound of that rain, the way the sirens echoed, the fear of stepping into black water, the helplessness of watching a city drown and realizing you can't fight it with your hands.
human response. Urgent, compassionate, and strong. It is a reminder of the urgent need for climate preparedness On July 16th and 17th, what began as an ordinary summer day in Hainan, China's tropical smarter urban planning and international cooperation in the face of growing environmental threats. Thanks for watching. Southern province, famed for its white sand beaches and lush greenery, took a violent turn no one could have predicted. A sudden and ferocious storm system. Subscribe. Your support keeps this channel going. Hit the bell so you never miss a real, calm, and clear report. Note, some footage in this video tore across the island, combining intense hail and destructive winds into a single catastrophic force. The skies shifted from a muted gray
where storms are intensifying and disasters can escalate in hours. Being informed isn't just interest, it's protection. Because some nights don't end when the rain stops. Some nights change everything. Stay informed, stay prepared, stay safe.
Hainan's experience may soon be the rule, not the exception.